Today in Algebra 1, we learned some things about functions. The title of our notes was Intro to Functions. The first thing we wanted to talk about was graphing. And in graphing, we started by looking at what's called the coordinate plane. And we labeled some things. On the coordinate plane, this is the x-axis. The vertical is the y-axis. That middle point is the origin. And then we want to name our quadrants. If we name our quadrants, this is number 1, this is number 2, number 3, and number 4. A lot of people made some comments about those being in Roman numerals and how we've been using those a lot in high school. That just happens to be a coincidence. I won't use them often. The reason we use them in this case is to not confuse them with regular numbers. Also, if you kind of look, I'm going to do it kind of lightly, but if you draw a C shape, normally it'll show you the order to go, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The last thing we need is an ordered pair. Is the name for what we call these things that are just the things we plot. The first one is your x-coordinate, the second one is your y-coordinate, and that makes an ordered pair. Let's practice graphing. Example number 1. Let's graph the point 3, 4 and call it M. So we're going to draw an x and y axis, do a couple of marks each way. And if we want to graph the point 3, 4, we're going to start by going right 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a dot and label it M. Let's do another example. If I wanted to graph the point -2, 0 and call it N, start at the origin, and since it's negative, instead of going right, I will go left 2, and then 0 tells me not to go up or down, but to stay right here, and that is N, my point N. The next thing we should practice is how to name the quadrant. Okay, we're going to do several examples. So example 3, 4, 5, and 6 all have to do with quadrants. And I want you to find P, Q, R, and S and tell me what each quadrant is in off of this little sketch. If we look for P, it's right here, and that's in quadrant 1, 2, 3. So my answer would be 3. Q is in quadrant 1, 2. R is on this axis, the x-axis, and so it's not really in a quadrant. The answer would be none. And S is in quadrant 1. And that's how we look at our quadrants. The last thing we want to review is how to do graphs. So if we're trying to graph, for example, the equation, it's example 7, y equals the absolute value of x minus 2 for the x values 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's the problem. I want to see this equation graphed with these points. To make it easier, we're going to use a chart for now. The first column is our x, the next column is our work, and the last column is our ordered pair. In the x column, we're going to list what they gave us, which was 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the work column, we're going to actually do the work. So we're going to plug in 0 for x in our equation. Our equation was the absolute value of x minus 2. In place of x, we're going to put 0. So it's 0 minus 2, the absolute value of that. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. And the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. That's our y value. So our ordered pair is 0, 2. And if you follow along, you can continue that process. Now we're going to try to plug in 1 for x. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1, and the point is 1, 1. 2 minus 2, absolute value is 0, which is 0. 3 minus 2, which is absolute value of 1, which is 1. And 4 minus 2, absolute value is absolute value of 2, which is 2. I know I went through that quickly, but I didn't want to bore you here on the podcast with going over that again. If you have more questions, let me know. You're just using a different x value for each line to get some sets of ordered pairs. Once you've done that, you want to get a graph. That was our whole goal in the first place. You may notice on our ordered pairs that all we have are positives, so I'm just going to go in the positive direction. And I'm going to plot all 5 of those points. 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 0, 3, 1, and 4, 2. And if I connect that, I get a V shape. And that was it for our lesson today. And on your notes, you'll want to be sure that you write a summary and get some questions down just in case. And then there is an assignment that follows. So you want to be sure you can try that and get all of those taken care of. This will be on the test. Good luck.